Before radios, TVS, and smartphones, people never knew there were so many dumb people out there. They just thought it was that one guy in town. More like, dumb people couldn't get together and encourage each other's dumbness to even greater extremes. This makes sense. I support this dumb statement. We should start a Facebook group. Then we can sue when they fact check us. Which dumb Facebook group is trying this tactic? The internet, A, puts those people in an information silo which validates them, B, connects them with each other so they feel less alone and more emboldened. The internet is a double-edged sword because on one hand it connects marginalized people and gives them a platform to be heard, but the flip side is that it does the same thing for hate groups and conspiracy theorists. Edit. I would like to agree with many that it's mostly engagement algorithms that are currently doing the harm. Also, of course there are legitimate conspiracy theory inquiries, but we are at the point of flat earth and dogmen. Relog conspiracy theorists need to consider a branding somehow because their new contemporaries are going off the rails. Also, these people are usually saying controversial or outlandishly stupid things, or acting in an absurd way which garners more views and continues to spread, making their voice be heard by millions. They ask this question regularly on Dumb People Town. Are people getting dumber, or are dumb people getting louder? They've been given megaphones. Twitter is by far the worst example. There are nearly 20,000 towns/cities in the US alone. 16,000 of which have a population below 10,000. Now let's say the amount of dumb fucks in each town is 1 to 1,000. That means for all those towns of 10,000 or less people there is approximately 10 dumb fucks per town. Therefore, the amount of dumb fucks for just small towns is 160,000. For all of the US that means there are approximately 328,000 dumb fucks for the whole country. 1 in 1,000? You gotta crank those numbers up. Yeah, I think it's closer to 1 in 3. Think of how stupid the average person is. Then realize that half of them are even stupider than that George Carlin. It still is mostly those few guys in town. The internet just gives everybody a platform to voice their opinions, free of prejudice. So more dumb people and smart people are heard. TV and radio did that too, but less so. And to a large extent smart people tend to talk far less. Empty vessels make the most noise. The quiet man is seldom mistaken for a fool. I like turtles. The funny thing is all the people here thinking they aren't dumb. Think of how stupid the average person is and realize half of them are stupider than that. George Carlin. Maturity comes when you realize and accept that quote has a 50% chance of being about you. The more you think it isn't, the more likely it is. Also, the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know, and people be like, hell yeah, I'll take that. Reddit. And I say this having been on here for a long time. Loves to unironically talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect without realizing the Dunning-Kruger effect actually pertains to themselves. Almost anyone at the forefront of any research topic from physics to computer science to biology will tell you humans know less than 1% of what's out there in basically any field. Intelligence starts with I actually know nothing about this subject and ends with it's very very complicated and I don't have all the details. But this is my best guess for this. All I know is that I don't know. All I know is that I don't know nothing. And that's fine. Jess Michaels. I think it was the opposite. There were a handful of really smart people who were successful and innovative. And then everyone else was just sort of dumb. And did things, mostly farming, some manufacturing, the way people had been doing them for generations. And the true idiots were the people that for whatever reason couldn't get it together. Now, it's mostly similar. It's just that there's an entire world's worth of information, often manipulated to protect interests, available at our fingertips. But people being what they are either don't care to go on a research project to change opinions they already have, or recognize that they can say or feel any way they want to about something. And aside from annoying people who think the opposite, it generally has little to no effect, either to threaten themselves personally, or to change what goes on in the world outside of themselves. so they just say anything that pops into their heads without really thinking about it, because they've been trained to do it by social media. Yay, it's still the same percentage, but the internet gives them the ability to sprinkle their stupid dust far and wide. It also makes one wonder if social media attracts a higher percentage of dumb people. I don't know if this is a thing, but it should be. I call it social narcissism. So before, narcissists with their crackpot ideas were only ever exposed to a small circle of people. Maybe they were managers at a job or at a large church, but that's as big as it ever got. Narcissists are emotional vampires, and they feed on both innocent victims and enablers. Well, the internet has weaned them off of the victims for the most part, because it's given them unlimited connection to armies of enablers. Furthermore, social media has made narcissism proliferate and supercharge the kind of narcissism we see. Before, cults were rare. Now cultish behavior / cultism spreads like an instant pandemic. We have more narcissists. They are more acute. They have better access to enablers, and we have psyops from foreign actors pouring fuel on the fire. So these dumb people you're talking about are being weaponized to serve malevolent, malignant narcissists across the world. And we give them a megaphone. Narcissism, to me, when I first studied psychology back in the late 80s and early 90s, was firmly a personal, psychological condition. Now, I see narcissism as more of a social condition in the realm of sociology or social / community psychology. I don't really view narcissism in a DSM way anymore. I think it's something like BPD, but narcissism is more of an externality that afflicts someone's own internal, flawed processes, such as antisocial personality disorder or borderline personality disorder. I think we fail to stop cults or narcissists and their enablers because we look at narcissism and enabling as psychological conditions when they are really societal, and we need to be looking at the actual underlying issues that makes them susceptible to these things. Think of it like zombies or some other infectious disease. The problem isn't the host is susceptible. The problem is the plague. These hosts are psychologically immunocompromised somehow. But we really need to deal with this pandemic of antisocial behavior. An oligarchic hyper-capitalist society in which people are extremely atomized and conditioned to believe that they have nothing to do with one another and owe nothing to one another is bound to produce both narcissists and absolute dumbasses. Combined with the fact that people are needlessly struggling for survival in the digital 21st century, that wealth begets wealth irrespective of character, and that corruption cannot be curtailed effectively once its proceeds are sheltered offshore, and you are going to end up with an incompetent society of idiots who are existentially impoverished in almost every way. Adults need to be able to devote time and energy for self-care, self-education and development, to care for their communities, to fulfill their civic and social responsibilities. Most adults do not have that time. So naturally the social commons are extremely degraded because no one is devoted to upgrading / maintaining them. The miraculous fruits of exponential technological progress have been stolen and are being stolen from the masses. The root cause of society being immunocompromised, as you put it, is that the masses of people have been having their lives and humanity needlessly stolen from them. Our collective way of life needs to evolve if we want to produce smarter, more competent, more compassionate, and more responsible individuals and a stronger and smarter society. Yeah. No. Doctoral student focusing on the historical impact of digital technologies here. I'm not gonna spend much time on this, because I get the joke. But I'm also a huge pedant. The internet makes like-minded collaboration easier. But humans have always been humans. We've always assumed our way of life was correct. And those idiots over there are just wanting to ruin it for us. Yeah, some humility is certainly required here. Most people statistically overestimate their own intelligence and underestimate many others. I think it's also presumptuous to label the entirety of a person stupid based on one or two interactions. There's intelligence without wisdom, wisdom without intelligence, etc. Most of us have been idiots at many points in our lives, and that's okay. I agree with this. I used to think I was smart until I realized how many things I get wrong all the time. At least you can gain perspective by being constantly wrong, so it's not all bad. I would say 95% of us are stupid most of the time. Then there are a few people that are smart most of the time and stupid less of the time. But they recognize their stupidity more and thus are more humble. Although there are many stupids that recognize their stupidness as well, which is a value so much more important than intelligence and I wish I had all the time instead of like 3% of the time. Source, my A. I like to think each individual person had a different, specific person in mind for the village idiot. We're all a village idiot to someone. Yes, everyone has different people to be that idiot.